hearing it your entire life. Clean up after yourself. Don't leave a mess. Put things in their proper place. Putting things in their proper place is important. Same thing goes with your car. When you're done with your car, even if it's for the day or just for a moment, you need to know where to properly park your vehicle. I mean, could you imagine if you just left your car in the middle of the street? The results could be probably just a good idea to park your car where it's supposed to be. Just avoid the whole problem. Besides, you think it's bad when your mom is yelling at you for leaving your stuff around? Wait until you have a cop yelling at you for it.
So, you ready to do a bit of parking?
Yes, I was born to park.
Alright.
Now, the first thing you want to consider when you're choosing a parking space is, if possible, choose a space that doesn't require any backing up. Putting your vehicle into reverse is a higher risk maneuver. And remember, you always want to keep your risk as low as possible.
Well, what if I have to back up, like if there's a spot where I can't just pull into or something like that?
If you have to back up, then I would suggest backing into the parking space. That way, when it's time to leave, you'll be pulling straight out.
Okay.
All right. Now, the first parking that we're going to practice is curb parking, and that doesn't require any backing up. See that curb up there? Yep. That's where you're going to want to park. You're going to pull the car right alongside the curb and park. The wheels should be no further away than 18 inches from the curb.
Okay.
Good. Not so bad, right?
Piece of cake.
All right.
You know, it's kind of like lane changing, except, well, we come to a stop.
Now, whenever you park next to a curb, you want to check for any parking signs, because you may only be allowed to park here for a limited time, or not at all. Let's get out of the car. Take a look at this curb.
All right. Yeah, I don't see anything.
Whenever you park next to a curb, you always want to check the curb itself. Now, this curb is not painted, so it's okay to park there unless there was a sign that said otherwise. But a lot of curbs will be painted, and the color that it's painted will determine if you can park there or not.
Really?
Now, there are many different colors of curbs, and you need to be aware of them all. For example, if the curb is painted red, you cannot park there.
Sounds easy enough.
Sure, but if the curb is painted green, you can park there, but for a limited time. If the curb is painted blue, you can park there if you have a handicapped place card or license plate. If the curb is painted yellow...
Okay, stop. Yellow, green, red, blue, all these colors? I can't take it.
All right, relax. You can study that on your own time.
Okay.
Let's get back into the vehicle.
All right.
Now remember, when you're pulling away from the curb, it's just like changing lanes, except for this time you'll be changing lanes from a stop position. So you want to make sure you have plenty of room. You need room to accelerate into the flow of traffic. All right, go ahead. Why don't you pull into this parking lot here, practice some other parking. Now, see all these parking spaces in here?
Yeah.
Perpendicular parking is the type of parking you're going to use to park in these spaces. It's a lot like making a right or left turn, except you're going to stop once you've made your turn. All right, see this space between these two cars?
Yeah.
That's where we're going to practice. You'll first want to signal about 100 feet before you get to the parking space.
Okay.
You want to check over your shoulders, left and right, make sure that there's nothing changing. Any changing conditions on your left and right, like pedestrians, other cars pulling out of their spaces. Okay, so let's go for it. Once you come up to the spot, you're going to start reducing your speed and stop once you hit the space. All right, go ahead and execute.
All right.
Good. All right, now if you have the option, you want to try to pull through to the next space if there was a space here in front of us. All right? Because that way you'd be facing forward into the road and you wouldn't have to back out of the space. You could just drive straight ahead. But in this case, we can't do it. We've got a wall right here. So what would have been a better option if we came to the same spot?
Find another parking spot?
Well, yes, that would work. But you could also back into the space. That way, you'd be facing forward into the road. You could just pull right out, you know? And you'd use the same reversing techniques that you would if you were reversing into a driveway.
Yeah, I think I remember practicing that when I was doing those 2-point right rear turnabout whatchamithings earlier. It's pretty easy.
Now, there is one exception to this rule. if a parking lot has all angled parking spaces, a lot of times that'll be in parking lots where the roads are all going the same direction. You do not want to back into those spaces, because if you back into it, when you come out, you'll be facing the wrong way on the one-way road. So you always just want to drive face forward into that spot. And you can go through to the other space if there is one in front of you.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So how do you think you're doing with this parking thing?
Oh, seems pretty simple, really.
All right. I'm glad you said that.
Thank you.
Because you have one more maneuver to do. Parallel parking.
Are you gonna make me learn how?
Of course. That's what they pay me for. Okay. Now, the furthest set of cones, you're going to pretend that's the car you're going to be parking behind. Just stop right about here. This is good. Now, the first thing you need to do when you're parallel parking is to make sure that there aren't any conditions that you need to be aware of, like cars coming up from behind you or cars pulling away from the curb.
Dude, we're in an empty parking lot.
Pretend, okay?
Right, okay.
Good. Then you want to use your turn signal, okay?
Yep.
About 100 feet before you get to your space. That way drivers will know that you're about to park.
Okay.
All right. Now go ahead and pull up here alongside that car. Make sure that you are lined up parallel, okay? So that the back of your car is lined up with the back of their car, your bumpers.
There really isn't even a car there.
Pretend. Remember?
Right.
Okay, now don't get too close to that car. You want to leave about 2 feet between them or you're not going to have enough room to make your maneuver.
Okay.
Now, use your reversing procedure. Check your mirrors. Look over your shoulder. Shift into reverse, but keep your foot on the brake.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you're going to want to slowly go backwards, all right? Until the front of your car is lined up with the front door of their car. Turn your wheel sharply to the right and reverse your car so that the angle is 45 degrees to the curb. Good. Now, turn your wheel sharply to the left, and you want to continue backing up in there while you straighten out your wheels. And make sure that the front of your vehicle clears the back of their vehicle. And as soon as it does, you want to come to a stop. Straighten out your wheels.
Okay.
Great. And then put on your parking brake. All right.
Got it.
Not so bad, was it?
It's okay, I guess. Kind of hard, though.
You know, it's a little more difficult than it looks, but, you know, you're really getting the hang of it. I really think you're going to be great at doing this.
Honest?
Pretend, okay?